Hi, and welcome back to our Hallway Pass podcast. I'm Lena.
I'm Jenna.
I'm Charles.
And then this is Miss Shier. Oh, he is offering.
Hi, I'm Hannah Shier. I'm the 11th grade teacher, and I teach U.S. history.
Nice. All right. Hi. Yep, Imani. And then we have Michelle behind the camera, too. She just doesn't want to be on here today. So we're going to be talking about, college, general, application questions and, the whole process. Yeah. So first question, what do you suggest students do to prepare for college and the application process?
So they do have some classes out there and online resources that students can look into. Definitely getting on top of your FAFSA and getting that filled out as soon as possible because, yes, there is money from the government available to students, but sometimes that can be on a first come, first served basis. So making sure you get your FAFSA filed as soon as possible is great. Additionally, y'all in particular have a lot of access to resources through your counselors, getting help from them. If you can, if this is offered, take AP courses or IB courses that can help maybe get you some dual credit and make your application look really appealing to colleges. Additionally, dual enrollment at a community college, you can take a class or two during summer school. You can get rid of some credits that way for your GEs, and that might allow for a smoother college experience. The application process, something that's been an issue from what I've heard for college application processes due to COVID, is a lack of enrichment activities outside of school activities. So making sure you are a part of a club or some type of maybe charity organization, someplace where you give time without any, payment or something, but it's out of some act of service, really looks really good on a college application too.
Oh, I'll take that one. Charles has a red.
Oh.
Okay. Your flower.
What?
You have a red flower.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay, so for that, going off of that, so we currently don't have AP courses, but we do have honors. Honors here is different from other schools. It's not like a separate class where you have a different teacher and different curriculum. It's kind of like a little add-on, I guess you would say, to your regular classes. And so basically, you'll just meet up a couple times, before school, during lunch or whatever, and you'll get more assignments, basically.
It does depend on your class. So it does depend here on your class for honors. That is essentially our only option here at school. The exception would be that sometimes you might find a seminar that has an AP equivalent or for example, studio art helping you submit a portfolio, though it's not going to walk you through the process of creating art pieces yourself. For honors here, it is going to depend on the class, whether it might be, as you had mentioned, meeting up outside of class or before or after school for a certain amount of time. It also may look like additional assignments. It could look like for my class where it might be increased difficulty in tests or projects or assessments like those where it's not additional, you just have additional requirements within that one assignment. But you're correct, that is essentially the equivalent here.
Yeah.
We do things differently.
We're just different.
We're built different.
So yeah, don't be afraid to apply, I guess you would say, to honors classes, courses, whatever you want to say, because sometimes they can be not what you expect and really easy compared to what you think you're signing up for.
I will say too, though, don't drop the honors. If you take it one semester, do not drop it the next. That will look poorly on your college application of why did you drop it? Could you not handle the rigor? Then why did you pick it up in the first place? Whatever the case may be. Yeah, do not take an honors and then drop it. It's better if you didn't have it this first semester and then pick it up the second semester, but your best bet is to have it the entire period of time. Colleges don't care as much if your grade drops while you have honors credit, because it's showing that you are trying yourself, you're challenging yourself with difficulty, and it doesn't hurt your GPA because it'll boost you anyway. So if you earn a B, it's equivalent to an A. But definitely don't pick it up and then drop it. That looks poorly.
That's actually really good advice. I didn't know that.
I thought they told us that if you did do bad, it would drop your grade.
No, so to clarify for APs, honors, and IBs, it's boosts you up by 1 point on a GPA scale. So instead of being out of 4, it's out of 5. So if you earn an A in an honors course or an AP or something like that, that A is actually worth 5 credits, not 4. So it is helpful. That's why I say the B is worth an A, because that is both 4 credits across the board. It's why people can have above a 4.0. Those honors classes are actually worth more. So that's why it's okay to challenge yourself and to take these courses. You just have to stick with it.
Mr. White told me otherwise.
That was a lot of math.
Definitely always double check this information with your counselors. Some things do change over time, but that is my current understanding.
Well, good to know, audience.
I know. We're learning more now too. Oh, girl.
You could have just stepped off. Hold it.
Okay.
Oh, you're right.
Moving on. So what are the like structure, I guess, or like standards of college? Because we are very different because we're project based. So how does that change once you go there?
So it does always depend on the college you go to, because some are, for example, like project-based, like Cal Arts, or there are some that are very much you are developing a portfolio, you are not, focusing on tests or anything by the means, you are focused on a project, whatever the case may be. Those might be more considered like trade schools, but you have them for the arts as well. I would say traditionally you're going to find college courses to be unlike this school. It's why, for example, 11th grade, we start to push testing more, because you're going to find testing a lot in college. You're going to find it outside of college. If you choose to go to a trade school, you're going to have to take tests to get that certificate. If you're going to become a manager or something, sometimes you might need to get some type of certificate or license, and there are testing skills you need to have. So which is why we push it here. That is very common in college, where oftentimes you might have a class where you just have the midterm and the final, and that's it. You have all these additional assignments, sure, but they might be worth only 5 or 10% of your grade. Your midterm and your final are going to be worth that other 90%. So test taking skills is incredibly important if you choose to go to a college or university. It's not something that we teach here necessarily. I think there's going to be a bigger push for it over these next few years. But you definitely need to learn how to study. You need to learn how to take a test well and manage your time, and when to move on to a question and when to come back, how to review your work. But definitely that. What you're also going to see is a lot of papers. Sometimes you're going to have classes where if the teacher doesn't want to give a test, they'll just have you do 2 papers, and then that is it. Or you might just have the one final paper, and that is the entirety of your grade is what that depends on. And again, because that's going to be worth like 80%, so the other 20% really doesn't matter, those regular assignments or attendance. So also having really good, paper writing skills, or being able to make a draft, going and accessing resources at the college like the writing center, which is fantastic always. Being able to, maybe have a study group where you guys help each other, review each other's work. Being able to not just do it the night before, maybe take a couple days to do it. Mm-hmm. Take at least 2 days for that.
But the thing is, it worked.
It worked. It worked at this school, and it worked during high school.
It's not going to pass in college.
The odds of that are more risky.
Especially if you go and rate my professor, they'll tell you can't fly by in certain teachers.
Yes. No, then that's good too. Yes, assess your teacher. Sometimes you won't have a choice. There will just be the one class with the one teacher. But if you do have some options, look at the reviews maybe, where possible.
I mean, like, that high risk, high reward. You can spend all your time.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Charles, we're supposed to be giving good advice. It may work for us, but like it's not going to work for other
example,
people.
for the majority.
Please allow me, the student right here. Follow Ms. Shier.
can't
For the
see your
majority of students, they should not wait until the last minute.
I'm walking that stage.
Again, for high school,
We're the wrong group of people then.
It's different.
College episode.
Go to Starbucks, okay? Wait, before you knock it, okay? Don't knock it before you try it. Go to Starbucks and work your booty off. Trust me, that environment, if you get like a nice outfit and like some coffee, it's very aesthetically pleasing and it makes you want to work more. You're welcome.
Okay, hold on. Charles, hold on. Don't shut it down so fast. Okay, everyone has their different methods. Maybe not everyone has Lena's method, but like, that's what helps her. All right.
Colleges have libraries.
Libraries.
They typically have multiple libraries.
That's very nice.
Utilize your time in class. I don't know if you have like time to work on essays in college because like I've never been to college. Okay. That's why I said go to Starbucks. Trust me, it's gonna work. It's gonna help you. Okay, go to Starbucks or the library or something. Wait, I'm not done. Okay, utilize your time somewhere else. Okay, trust me, it will work wonders.
Guys, drink coffee. It'll save your life.
That is most people get introduced to coffee through college.
Oh, I had a triple shot this morning. We're doing fantastic.
Triple shot makes it sound like,
I had
just say espresso. No.
Triple shot of blonde espresso. Okay, we're vibing. All right. So since you talked about like studying and how it may be like a struggle for some of us, since you are very like class at wow words, we're doing great. Since you have a class that like requires like note taking and like taking tests often, how do you think it would help students to like transition from using like your class or other types of methods into that because we're such a project-based school?
Well, the first thing I think would be to take notes. A lot of college professors are going to be lecture based. So you're going to have to be able to have the stamina to sit there potentially up to 3 hours. You'll have college classes that will range. It depends if you're a semester or you're a trimester based school. But oftentimes I went to a semester, you're going to have a 1 hour class 3 times a week. You're going to have an hour and a half class 2 times a week or a 3 hour class 1 time a week. And if it's a lecture based class, you're going to need to have, one, the stamina to get through that and not fall asleep or like mind wander or leave class and never come back. And two, you're going to have to be able to take notes because those professors very often are not going to share those resources with you. So for example, when I post the slides, which I don't think I ever did for your class, but I'm nicer to my current one, when I post the slides for that or I provide them with study materials, which I definitely didn't do for you guys, but I do for them now.
Wow.
But it also shows what they need.
Ask.
Yeah, you did have to ask.
She had to ask.
Yeah, we had an email.
But back on track, you're not going to get those from professors. So being able to, one, persevere in class, to take those notes, to take good legible notes on the content that's being covered. For example, I had a professor once who didn't even have slideshows. She would walk around talking for the entire hour and a half twice a week, and every once in a while would write a word or two on the board. So I was transcribing that entire class by hand. Some professors you have to ask might allow you computers, they might not. They might allow you to record a class, they may not.
Oh, yeah.
So you do have to ask, that does need to be clear.
Like a voice recording.
Yeah, voice recording, but it depends on the professor. So you do have to be careful with that. But, note taking is a good skill. Being able to review is a good skill. They have a lot of resources out there that they did not have back in the day. I had to do handwritten flashcards. You guys have things like Quizlet and Kahoot and a variety of other resources. A classic. So definitely using your time well outside of class. If I remember correctly too, just something to keep in mind, because it's been a minute since I've been in college, for every unit a class is, it's expected you're spending 1 hour per unit outside of class on that class. So that's regarding the homework and the assessments that are involved in that. So that's why, typically a full-time student semester base, if I remember correctly, was 12 units. It's expected you're spending at least 12 units a week outside of that class. Outside of those courses working on those classes. And I could be wrong, it might be double that amount. So, if you're choosing to take half that class, just a part-time student, that might work better for you. If you're choosing to go over that, I, for a year, was taking 18 units. So you have to find the balance that works for you, but you have to be aware of terms of, one, using those sites, then maybe you can find research. I'm okay. But that's why, it might matter to use those sites like Rate My Professor to find information of, is this a professor that does a lot of, homework and reading and such like that, to try and balance your workload. Because then that might determine then your studying practices, or if one favors tests over papers, you then find the professor that might, work better for your skill set.
Because I've also heard too that if you record, it's like almost like you'll get kicked out of the class.
Yeah, you don't ever flat out record the professor.
I feel like it's like asking for permission.
Yeah, audio. Yeah, you definitely have to ask for permission, and audio would be the approved method, not videotape.
Those are private lessons, like they don't want them outside in the world.
Yeah, so yeah.
Pay for those.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of, essentially their material, especially under the university, is essentially copyrighted. So yeah, you can't necessarily, that's why they won't often share their resources or allow you to record them, is because that's the way that they earn money. And if therefore that gets, available to the masses, they've lost, in theory, they've lost that income. So again, you do have to ask that professor to see what they will allow.
Okay. Let's take a step back here. You said double that. And if I'm doing 12 units and I got 12 hours extra that I got to spend out of it, you said double. That's a whole day. That's like, so 24 hours.
And I could be wrong. It could be more than that.